That's my nephew. Sorry, guys. All right. We're just going to wait for the confirmation real quick that we are live everywhere. Cool. All right. Now we're live. So hello. Hello. All right. So let me get into my long spiel that you guys have to sit through. So I'm sorry. But anyway, good evening, everyone. Welcome to session 1 of our 4th edition featured artist Q&As. My name is Samantha, and I will be hosting tonight. Just to give everyone an idea of how the event will run, for the first 30 or so minutes, I'll be asking the featured artist here a variety of questions. Then we will open up the conversation to questions from the audience. So if you're watching in the audience and you have any questions for our featured artist up here, you can put them in the chat at any time. If you're watching on AirMeet and you want to be on camera, you can raise your hand and we will let you ask your question directly. Yeah, so without further ado, let me introduce the guests for tonight. So, first up, I have Aaron Nicholas Lockhart II.
I sent it. It's my fault.
Yes, that is your fault. You sent us your full name. So, Aaron's artistic drive started when he was very young. As a teenager, he was featured in numerous plays and performances, as well as directed and wrote sketches. Near the end of high school, Aaron began writing and producing music under the name Cornelius Fiction, a pseudonym that he still uses as a recording artist. Currently, he is enrolled at UNLV, completing a degree in film and another in English. During his time at university, Aaron has achieved Dean's Honor List for the College of Fine Arts, interned for multiple film festivals, including Finding Vince 400 and Las Vegas Film Festival, where he co-produced films with high school students for a youth cinematic lab, and worked on several competition and prize-winning films, including recipients of the NATA, okay, making sure I read that right, sorry, Student Emmy Awards. Throughout the pandemic, Aaron wrote and directed 2 short films and directed and shot 2 music videos. Aaron continues to be out here looking for that work.
Hire me, please.
So, yay! Thank you, Aaron, for being here.
Thank you.
All right, and next up, I've got Karllon Musni as well. Karllon is a Vegas-based video/film editor and film photographer. With a passion for visual arts, she documents all her artistic ventures on her YouTube channel, where you can find such things as her film photography process, photo shoots, blogs, and much more. So be sure to look up Karllon on YouTube and see her latest content. I love watching Karllon's YouTube videos. They're so fun, she's so funny, and very educational too. Like, I don't know anything about film photography, and everything I know is because of Karllon. So you can follow Karllon, her film photography Instagram, which is @ukarllon. And on top of that, Karllon also graciously sent in a journal for Eccentric Artists, and it's entitled I'm a Film Photographer. So if you haven't already, I would highly recommend reading that journal that's up on our website at eccentricartist.space, and we will be talking about it a little bit today in our Q&A. So thank you so much, Karllon, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yay! I'm so excited. So, on behalf of the board, we would like to once again thank you both for being here today. And before we move on to our questions, I would like to invite everyone to sit back and enjoy a short video showcasing the work of our 2 featured artists.
This is what it feels like when I
Yay!
That was dope.
You guys are so talented. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. I've honestly, for everyone watching, I have had the great pleasure of being able to work with both of these people on numerous projects, and they are so talented, they are so smart, so I'm super excited to get to talk to them tonight. Just had to throw that out there. That's my humble brag. I've worked with these guys. Okay, let's get started. Are you guys ready for some questions?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to start out with some general questions for both of you guys. So whoever wants to go first, feel free. My first question for you guys is, what is something that you wished you learned in college, but maybe didn't?
I definitely wish I was more social my first few years. I didn't start working on projects until like the last year and a half. My first project was actually because of Erin. So thank you for having me on that project,
Yay!
Erin.
You're welcome.
So yeah, I wish I branched out more in the beginning.
I guess I'm still in school, but I don't know. I guess I just wished I knew how to like get to the point faster. I feel like I'm really like slow about answering or explaining things, and I don't know. Like as time went on, like I'm like, nah, we gotta. What are we talking about here? Like just getting there faster.
Okay. Well, we can work on it today. Today is good practice for that, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. What attracts you to a project? Is there a certain project that comes to mind that immediately caught your attention?
I like personally stuff that's not cliche, I guess. I feel like there are a lot of tropes, and there's stuff that's like easily recognizable, and I actively try to seek out as well as try to like manifest more stuff that's like against the grain. Just like as a producer, or like as even when I'm like making my own stuff, like writing or anything like that. Like I try to not, I don't know. I just try to like not stay consistent always like with what's trendy or like what's a trope, like just kind of find what's real.
Same for me. I like out of the box kind of ideas. I think the project that first comes to mind is when I DIT'd on Oyasumi. It was like the first time I was on set and like actually like watching things happen, and I just knew like watching it that I had to be the editor. I had to ask to edit it.
That's cool. That's awesome. Cool. So, with that in mind, do you guys feel like you have found your niche in film? Like, do you feel like you kind of know your style already, or are you still figuring it out? Like, do you feel like you've found your voice?
Hell no. I feel like when I do, I don't know. I feel like an eccentric artist, asterisk, whatever, trademark. Like I like to I like a lot of different stuff, like music and movies and stuff. I like making really like no two projects that you stack next to mine are gonna really be the same. And once I do one thing, it's like, all right, got to do something different to fill in the blanks. But I feel like I'm getting better at chasing that. I guess in a way where I start to see like where some of my strengths are, what more things that that I like and don't like and don't really like gravitate towards, and then but I feel like I dream all the time about that one thing that I'm gonna make that actually gets everything I want like in one, but I don't think that's like a thing. I don't think I can put all those things into one thing, and if I do, I don't know what happens after that.
I want to try everything. I haven't found exactly where I am yet. I think like filmmaking wise, I can't see myself doing anything other than editing, but just like in art as a whole, I want to try it all.
Cool. Yeah, and both of you guys are very talented and like multi-hyphenate artists. Like Aaron is not only a filmmaker but also a musician. Karllon is not only a filmmaker but also a photographer. Do you think that having multiple art outlets help inform the other ones? Maybe. I know I'm going off script. I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I don't know, if I see like a photographer that I like, I'll try to like, I don't know, translate that into also my editing style. Like all the art that I look at kind of influences each other one way or another.
Yeah, I feel that same way. Where like I don't know. I feel like I like to explore different things, but I don't do these other things to like help me with the other thing. I just end up learning stuff along the way where I'm like, maybe sometimes I'm in a recording process, and then I'm thinking about like the way that we're recording it. Like one of my newer goals is like recording film audio analog. So like I'm trying to start messing with like tape, but I don't want to record directly to tape. So it's like I wouldn't have really considered doing that until I like watched certain movies and then started thinking about tape, like doing that sort of thing. So it's like they kind of bounce back. I feel like they do help, but I feel like I do all the different things just because like I have to.
Yeah. Cool. What are some of your guys' inspirations? Like, could be filmmakers or photographers, musicians. Like, what kind of artists inspire you?
For me, like with editing, I'm not really good at names and stuff, like knowing a lot of editors, but like if I'm watching a movie and I see a cut that I really like an experimental cut or something, I'll take inspiration from that. And for photographers, there are a ton that I really love. Right now I'm like obsessed with Wen Xuan, I think is her name. She does black and white photography, and they're all inverted, and she does like faceless portraits, which I love to do as well. So yeah.
Cool.
That's tight. That's super tight. I'm sorry, I got nervous. What was the question?
What are some of your inspirations? Are there
okay. I feel like
styles, anything?
My friends, honestly, I keep a close bunch. Like nice. Everybody is super diverse. I have friends that do like flips and stuff, and I feel like I have friends that dance and make music and filmmake and stuff like that. And being around people that aren't always in the same medium, but they're like a through line, I think, with all my friends is like they're constantly pushing their own boundaries and they're constantly pushing their own limits. So like staying close to people like that, even though they're not in the same medium, like I feel like they really push me to be my higher artist self and stuff like that. But then like, yeah, I have like a billion inspirations, like music and film wise and stuff.
Awesome. That's cool. That's very nice. Oh, I remember. So I'd like to go back to Karllon, if I could ask you a question specifically. So you do mostly black and white photography. Can you talk a little bit about like how you decided you liked black and white more than color, or can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so when I started shooting film, it was for a black and white film photography class, so we were only restricted to black and white, so at the time that was all I knew. But when I started shooting in color, I realized that like my work is like completely different in black and white and color. I think I was trying to fit a mold with color, but with black and white, I was being much more honest. Like a lot of my work is like really dark and kind of creepy looking with black and white. So, yeah.
That's cool. That's very cool. That's very cool. Yeah, I've tried like color photography before, and I just feel like there's just too much going on for me.
Yeah.
Like I can't focus. Cool. Aaron, I'd like to ask you a question.
Yes.
So can you give me a little bit of insight to your stage name, Cornelius Fiction?
Yes. So, I was 17 and I was like, yeah, music, that's what I'm doing. Mom, I'm not going to college, I'm making music. But it was like I had to, like, I'd been making it for some months, like I was just making it and just, yeah, I don't know. I was like, I need a name. So the way I ended up coming up with it, I made like a fake festival flyer basically. And I put all my favorite artists' names like on that and like photoshopped it so it looked like, you know, like the Life is Beautiful thing or whatever. And then I made a space right at the top for my name to put it next to like the other names. So I knew I wanted to do fiction because I feel like a lot of what I do and like my personality, a lot of it's been influenced by fiction. Like I read a lot of books and watched a lot of cartoons and movies and stuff and music. And but the name Cornelius, it was kind of funny. Like when my dad first heard it, my cousins told my dad what it was. I'm named after my dad, and he was like, "Cornelius, like, is that what you want to be called?" I was like, no, it's just like a thing. I feel like I wanted something that was like a little bit different or like distinguishable, but then I also wanted something that was like kind of classical sounding in a way, or like something where it's like you don't know what this is until you look at it, kind of thing. So I felt like that name kind of worked for me, and I never switched it. I've thought about it, but I was like, I don't know what else I'd call myself. So
yeah, it's very cool. Thank you for your insight. It's really interesting to me that you said that you put together like a lineup poster. I'm going off script again, so please don't get scared. But like, do you believe in manifestation? Like, do you think that helped you to get like the ball rolling, to have something to look forward to like that?
Yes, I do believe in manifestation, or I guess I'll say like it's kind of like you get what you give sort of thing. So like what you put out, you're gonna get back. But in terms of like making that, yeah, that was, it kind of lit a fire under me because I was like, nah, I need this. You know, I need to see my name right here in the same, like with those lists. And it's like, you know, that, yeah, I feel like even if it's in a fantastic sort of way, like even if you're just, you know, dreaming about whatever this thing's going to be, like do it, like put your name on like a Cannes lineup or whatever, movies or whatever, and just, you know, put your name in the director list or whatever, like do whatever helps you see yourself at the level that you want to be at, kind of thing. And it did help. obviously I wasn't making music like those people at the time and whatever, and I'm still not. Like I'm still trying to scratch the surface on like where I am. But it was something that really did motivate me to try and elevate myself there.
Nice. That's very cool. I'm always interested in hearing about like what inspires people. Like, I don't know, sometimes like making vision boards help, or like, I don't know, talking about it. Some people are talkers, or like visual or whatever. Karllon, do you have like anything that helps you keep your goals in mind?
I'm a list person. I literally have like a list of my answers to the questions in front of my laptop.
Nice. So I'm sorry for going off script. I know that you don't have any. I didn't let you prepare for this. Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I always like to hear about people's like your process and what inspires other artists, because I feel like like nobody's the same, and the same things don't motivate everyone, you know. So it's interesting. Thank you for sharing. So a question, we'll go back to a general question for both of you guys. What are some other forms of art, like art mediums, or other parts of the filmmaking process that you haven't tried and are possibly interested in trying?
I'm gonna try screen printing for the first time, so I'm excited for that.
Yes.
Sculpting for me,
Ooh.
like plate throwing, pottery and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. You know, like Spencer's shit on iCarly, like the all weird. I don't think I would make that, but like that sort of stuff, I'm like, you know what, you can do whatever you want. If you're a sculptor, you can do whatever you want. There's no limitation. I could put a penny and like 2 toothpicks and like, you know, like a snake skin on a board, and that's a sculpture or whatever. So it's like, I like that freedom, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. I want to be like 60 and like I wear a beret kind of thing before I start doing the sculpting, but yeah.
That's awesome. That's cool. I wish you both luck and prosperity in both of those endeavors. So maybe I should have asked this question first, just for my own benefit, but how do you guys get rid of any on-camera nerves? Like, before you know you're going to be on camera, do you have anything that you do to prepare yourself?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I feel like when I was in high school, I was in theater, and before we'd go on stage, like it didn't matter how like cool we were, or, like how much we knew our lines or believed in it. We were like, "Hey, I got to take a fear shit right now." So we did go in the back, just fear shit. Like just get the fear shit out, and then once you do that, like you'll be good to go. I don't take enough fear shits, I don't think, these days, but yeah, that's something.
Nice. How often do you guys do things that scare you?
That's a dope question.
Sorry. That's off the script. I'm sorry.
That's right.
I trust you guys. I feel like I could just talk to you guys about anything.
This is something I was scared of, so this is the first time in a while I've done something like that.
Yay! Nice.
I do stuff a lot that scares me. Even like I don't know. I write scripts and like I record music, but it's like every time I get in front of the mic and whatever, and I'm like, all right, I mean, I don't know. That stuff scares me. I like confronting my limits. So that's kind of like what I was saying with my friends things. Like a lot of my friends really push themselves beyond physically and like mentally and stuff like that. So it's like I really do try to do that. Scare myself a little bit. Not too bad, but enough to like, you know, to keep me on my toes.
Definitely. Reading over my script. I guess I should get back to the script. We worked very hard on these questions. The board worked hard on these questions. So, So this is a question for both of you guys. Do you prefer to work alone or with a team?
I like a mixture of both. I initially got into editing because I'm naturally very introverted, so I thought it was something I could do on my own. But after DITing a few times, just like having like my own like tiny space, but having the option to like hang out with everybody was like a good balance for me.
Nice.
I did a lot of team sports and stuff growing up. I played football. I played organized sports for a long time, and then theater. So it's like I was always kind of held to the standard of you have to rely on other people, which is why I feel like I like directing and stuff because it's like I like working with the all different departments and different people and stuff like that. But I do feel like when I write, I don't know. Well, I've written with people. I've written like with directors. I've written with other writers. But I feel like it's like really personal to me. So I like to write alone so I can really get some of my thoughts out because I feel like that's the one place where I unrestrict myself, I guess, in a certain way where it's like I can write anything. Like I can say anything that I want or use whatever words I want or say it however I want. And I think my favorite part about writing alone is like if I if I express a certain thing, like I love ripping my pages out and crumpling them up and throwing them in the trash. Like it feels liberating to have that control. Whereas like when sometimes if you're like writing with people, like you have to leave a lot of things in there. But yeah, so yeah, same as Karllon. I like both.
Nice. Yeah, I think it's good to have a balance of the two. So to talk a little bit more about your writing process, Aaron, how do you deal with writer's block?
That's where I feel like the other art thing comes in, of the other branches. So it's like if I can't write a script, I'm like, all right, I'm hitting the studio right now. Or it's like, right now, like for the past few months, I haven't been recording much music, but I've been writing more scripts and stuff. So sometimes I feel like changing my scenery helps. Sometimes changing like the activities. So it's like, I haven't been doing this for a while. Let me do this. Just try to inspire myself, scare myself, inspire myself, see something weird. I like work this. I got so bored that I didn't have anything interesting to say when I was writing that I ended up working in the casino, like on club nights in a gift shop. And I saw so much weird stuff and I quit immediately as soon as the summer ended. I was like, I'm done. That was enough. And I was just like, whatever can get me to break out of it. And all right, we're going to do this. I was like adamant. Let's talk about mental health. Let's talk about the thing. Let's unpack it a little bit. Yeah. So I feel like if you're a writer, you should sincerely, I'm saying this with a smile, but sincerely, you should find out if you have depression. That's for real. But also, I do feel like there are times when I hit lows, like super lows, and I feel like I can't write. Like I feel like I can't express that part. And it's like what I was saying, like writing super personal to me. And sometimes I feel so down that I just don't know how to get up to write. And I feel like sometimes I have to sometimes when I get down and I need to break loose, I really feel like running. I don't like running that much. That's not an activity I do, or I don't exercise like that. But sometimes I just feel this I'm held up in all these different ways, whether it's mentally or whatever, and I'm just if I just sprint as fast as I can in some direction, and then whenever I stop, I'll come out of it or whatever, or I just do something to shake it up and break loose and find it. So it's writing saved me in several ways. That's how I kind of ended up with, I wouldn't say music, but it's I wrote a lot of poems. So it's sometimes when I can't write a whole feature script, or I can't write a whole song or all this stuff, sometimes I can write really short poems, and just getting a couple words out is enough to okay, I did it. I just wrote, this poem was 19 words or whatever long, but it's that was enough to get me a little bit up enough to think, oh, okay, I can keep doing this, or maybe I can write, a page of a script or something like that. Like whatever can do that.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So I know this is a big question, but how did the pandemic affect you guys as an artist? Like, okay, so let me give a little bit of context. Eccentric Artists basically started because I was lonely, and was looking for like a community of people because I wasn't in school anymore. Everything was shut down. You couldn't see people anymore. You couldn't work on sets or anything. So like starting Eccentric Artists was my way of dealing with that and figuring out like, okay, I need to be able to talk to people. I need to be able to interact with people. Like what am I trying to ask here? Like you're both here. We're all here. We made it out of the thick of it. Like, how did you do it? I don't know if that's the right question. But maybe just if you want to talk a little bit about how the pandemic affected you and like you as an artist specifically. Like I found it to be really hard to make anything or do anything. It was kind of just about surviving. I don't know. Any thoughts?
Well, I graduated like right before the pandemic hit, so like I was already like stuck at home and wondering like what to do with my life, and then with all the film projects just like stopping all at once, I was like, oh my god, now what? So I guess it kind of motivated me to start my YouTube channel, and just I think I'm actually like a lot closer to film people now, just like through online and stuff like that, and like through this. So yeah, it's like pushing me to be a lot closer with people, I suppose. Closer but farther, I guess.
Yeah. Closer at a safe distance.
Yeah.
I feel like I got, I don't know. It gave me a lot of time to look at what I've made. I feel like reflect on how far I've come or anything like that. But it did slow me down in a sense where it's like I have to move extra cautious right now. Like I'm concerned about my family's well-being and stuff. So it's like all those literal things that impacted people like that, super stifled a lot of things. And it's like, I was actually talking with one of my writer friends over the panty, and I was talking about how I hated that I have this much time to write. I was like, I'm not supposed to have this much time to write. I'm supposed to be writing in like the deepest, darkest moments of the night when I have a brief moment before the sun comes up. That's when I do it. But I'm like, I'm not supposed to have 16 hours a day to write, which is weird to me. So I feel like I kind of like everybody just wanted to find something else to do, like to find something to branch out of. Not even in art, just like in general, like what's something else I like, that I like to do or anything like that. But I feel like what Karllon was saying, there was a huge push where people did kind of get more connected to each other because it's like through the internet, like we were able to really stay together with people and really see how people are doing. And it's like, I would just, message people, or people would message me like out of nowhere. It's just like, hey, are you okay? like it was, I feel like it got really, there was like a lot of empathy that was going around, and that kind of pushed me to like stay up and stay, keep looking forward. It's like there's so much to look forward to still, and it's like, I did say on New Year's, as soon as midnight passed, I was like, holy shit, we made it. Like, jeez, we actually, like, it was like I did kind of like have a sigh of relief. I was like, we actually made that. But yeah, I think a lot of people's ideas are like percolating right now, and like when things do kind of settle in a different way, and the dust settles on everything, like I feel like people are gonna explode in a really cool way.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, I can only speak for myself, but I think a lot of people have had time to think about what really matters to them, and I feel like anything that comes after this is like very intentional. Like, you know, like yeah, I'll leave it there. I'll just leave it there. That's a thought that I haven't completed yet. So I won't. We'll leave it there. That's a good spot. Cool. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for talking about that, guys. I know it was off script, and I'm sorry. What's the point of sending you guys a script if I don't even follow it?
Keeping us on our toes.
Yeah, keeping you on your toes. Making sure you stay scared. All right. Let's see. Let's do a general question for both of you guys. In terms of being a collaborator, have you ever worked with a very opinionated director or someone that's had a very strict vision? How do you handle that? How do you work with them?
That's happened quite a few times for me. Like, they'll have like a very clear vision of what they want, which is fine for me. I like having some sort of like idea to work with, but the second they want to like watch over my shoulder as I'm editing and like critique what I'm doing as I'm doing it, like that's where I draw the line.
Yeah, no micromanaging, Karllon.
Yes. I feel like we run into the ego thing a lot, especially with the capital D's, the directors and stuff. Like they like to wear the big pants and stuff. I feel like sometimes when I'm working as a script supervisor, I run into like really, really like manic directors sort of. But there are other like sometimes there's key positions in general. People that are in those that are very like rigid. I feel like the workaround is like you definitely want to, feel respected, or you want to feel heard, and validated and stuff like that. But sometimes it's just like, I gotta stay alive. I gotta make it through this. Like, I gotta get through this one. And maybe I'm not gonna call you ever again, or maybe if you call me, I'm not gonna answer. But sometimes, yeah, I do feel like I've kind of just had to like bite my tongue to like get through some of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you kind of have to pick your battles, I think. So on the topic of script supervising, Erin, how do you prepare to script supervise? And maybe for the audience, if they don't know what script supervising is, can you kind of explain what that job does?
Yeah, I finally found it out. I get asked every time I'm on set doing script work. Somebody will wander over to me in front of my binder, and they're like, "So what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Okay." And I used to try to explain it, but the best way that I can explain it that makes sense is I'm like the stats guy or stats person. A script supervisor is in a way that I'm keeping track of what's being shot and when, on what lens, and for how long, and how the day flows, and that's all documented. So it's like half of a stack of my notes go off to the producer, so they know what was going on set if they're not physically there, and then the other half of my notes go off to an editor, so that they can see, because the editors aren't always welcome on set. So it's like they rely on are some of my notes to see what certain shots were shot from where, or like anything like that. So I do a lot of annotating. But to stay organized, I try to prep as much as I possibly can. So there's a lot of it that I can fill out. Like if I get a call sheet, I could do at least 2 different of my documents. I have like 6 to 8 documents that pretty much I have to do that are like daily. And then when we're shooting, I record what's called an opposite page note. So it's like you have your script open, and it's like the script page is here, and then on the opposite page, on the back of the next page, there are notes, and then you write down the action that's taking place per take. So I try to do everything that I possibly can so that when I get there, I can only focus on the opposite page notes, because that's what's really important, that's what's really helpful. And then at the end of the day, anytime I can catch a break, I just try to do a couple other things. Like we have a scene checklist. Like, did we complete this scene? Is this halfway done? Like I just try to do as much of it as I can so that once we're rolling, like I can just focus on that. And that's kind of helped. I'm not typically like, I don't know, I guess I'm organized, kind of organized chaos in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, with script supervising, that's probably where I'm like the most on point. You know, I got my pencil, like I got my stuff, my binder, like I keep it neat. I keep a couple extra copies of the script. Like I just try to be really prepared to answer questions from any department because you're continuity. So it's like they have to see what I'm doing, or it's like, I don't know. There was one time where they're like, hey, yesterday or 2 days ago when we shot this scene, what lens were we using here? And I'm like, I'm like, but I can pull the answer out. And it's like, if you keep your binder neat, like you'll be able to answer the question in a second. Or it's like somebody, like I fucked up sound one time. I wasn't recording sound, but I gave the sound person the wrong scene number and they recorded it. And then we were jumping back and forth between these different scene numbers, and then they caught it, and they're like, "Hey, you got me fucked up," and I was like, "No, I didn't." And then we started looking through the notes, and we sat there. It was like me and the DP and the sound person. We were looking at this thing, and then I found the one. I was like, "Oh, right here. I made this mistake," and I was like, "Okay," and then we corrected all that. So it does help. Yeah.
Nice. Cool. That's cool. Question for Karllon before we get into some audience questions. So as an editor, what are some questions that you ask the director when collaborating to get an idea of what they have in mind?
It's kind of like bad that I don't really have that many questions, because like when I work with directors, it either goes like, okay, so they either have like a super clear vision and they tell me right away exactly what they want, or they just like hand me the footage and like they tell me to do whatever with it, and then we'll work from there. But like as we do more and more rough cuts and they make like critiques or like things that they think I should change, then I kind of see what vision they have.
Cool. Nice. I think if I had to guess, because I've worked with you, Karllon, I've handed the footage over. I would say that Sean and I were probably like, here you go. Do your magic. Do your magic, please. So I appreciate that. Thank you for editing Cult Friends. It was great.
No problem. I love doing it.
Cool. I think I'm going to jump over to some audience questions now, if you guys don't mind. Let me take a look. So the first question I have here is from Summer, and Summer asks, where do you guys see yourselves in 10 years? That's a hard question.
I'm like, how old am I right now?
How old am I? Like, how old will I be in 10 years? I don't know. I don't want to think about it.
Damn. 10 years, I got an Emmy, guaranteed.
Nice.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Everything else, I don't know. I don't know if I got pants on. I don't know if I got a house or anything else, but I know that that's what I got 10 years from now. Nice. Yeah. 34, at least a movie or 2 or 3. Yeah. I'm an ambitious person, though, so it's like, I don't know. I like saying that, just like I like putting my name on the, these, like, made-up flyers, but, like, yeah.
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 Nice. Speak it into existence. You got it.
Manifest it.
For me, hopefully I'm like, I want to venture out of Vegas at some point in my life, and my dream is to like live somewhere by the beach while like freelance editing, working on photography, still basically doing what I'm doing now, but by the beach, I guess.
Nice. Yes. Cool. Karllon, I might have to talk to you later because I have the same dream. Let's buy a house in California, is what I'm saying. Anyway, next question. The next question I have is from Timmy, I think. Yeah, from Timmy. If you could... Okay, wait, let me read this first before I read it out loud, because I can't, like, think and read at the same time. Oh my gosh. Timmy, what is this question? Okay, question's from Timmy. If you could go back to the beginning of your film career and have exactly 7 words you could say to your past self, what would you say? 7. He said exactly 7 words. Yeah, at the beginning of your film career, what would you say to your past self?
Remember to remember what's important, kid. That's what I'd say.
Hi. Oh, wait. Mm-hmm.
I counted it out. I think I'm good. Oh, fuck, no, that's 6 words. Remember to remember what is important, kid. No contractions.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, 7 words. Good job. Nice.
I can only come up with 5 words. I'm sorry, Timmy. Work with more people, dummy.
Nice. Good job. All right. I think those are good pieces of advice for your past self. And I think the cool thing about those kinds of questions, like reflecting on your past self, you can tell yourself that now and, implement it now. So remember your own words, guys. All right. Next question is from Webb's Weekly Wrestling Rant. So shout out to Webb.
Shout out
Webb. Webb's question is, why is Fade to Black the best concert film ever? I feel like that question's for you, Aaron.
That is for me. Fade to Black is probably one of the better concert films I've ever seen. It's a documentary about Jay-Z and how he played this insane sold-out concert at the Madison Square Garden, and the way that they intercut it with the production of his album during that time. I was literally like, yo, I love Jay-Z, and this is so crazy. That concert was literally the most insane thing I've ever seen. They brought everybody up. Yeah, documentaries are important.
Nice. Yes, they are.
That.
Karllon, do you have any favorite documentaries or concert films?
Documentaries? I think one of the last documentaries I watched was the one about SeaWorld.
Blackfish? Nice.
I'm not
That's
much
an eye-opener.
Yeah.
That one's important, though. I remember when I saw Blackfish, and I was like, fuck SeaWorld.
Yeah. Free the whales.
Oh, man. That's so funny. Okay. Next question. Another question from Summer. Any interesting horror stories from working on set? Do you guys have any horror stories from sets? And no need to name names or anything. I don't want to get anybody in trouble here. We're not trying to start some gossip. But if there's anything, a horror story that can maybe, for people watching, maybe they'll be like, oh, I should not do this on my set, maybe.
There was a project I was on for advanced directing. Advanced directing in itself is like a horror story. But they didn't have a sound person. They just didn't have anybody, so they recorded the audio on like their iPhone, and they didn't slate anything. And like I managed to get something together, and they didn't even present it to the class. So that's mine, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel okay. Oh, so one of my first from that same class, one of my first ever shoots. Somehow I ended up with like 10 or 12 people in a Dana dolly inside of like a living room or inside a dining room. And midway through the shoot, I didn't have a dedicated sound person, so they all had to leave, the people that were helping me with sound. So I had to like boom operate, sound mix, and direct at the same time while trying to direct camera. That's probably like the most messed up. I mean, everything else that I could probably imagine would just be like a safety error. I was just on a feature where they made the cast and some crew members, some key crew members, get into Lake Mead at 4 a.m. Very cold, very not safe. Hypothermia was real. That was crazy. I'm not even going to open up the whole can of worms on that. Somebody almost died, and it was related to the lake. It wasn't in the lake, but it was definitely related to that fucking lake.
Yeah. Well, everyone watching, safety first, please.
Have the meeting. Just have the safety meeting. Let's talk about it. You know what? I got one. I won't even throw this person under the bus. We had a safety meeting. We were shooting in a very rugged location, and this person, who was one of our keys, was like, all right, I'm going to go check it out over here. And we're like, oh, what happened? He's like, I stepped on a rusty nail, and it penetrated my foot. And then we're like, oh, my God, no. So, yeah, have the safety meeting. Very important.
Not the rusty nail story. Oh, my gosh.
He had a tetanus shot, I think, so.
Yeah, he got a tetanus shot.
Blake!
No names.
Sorry. I said Jake from State Farm.
Yeah, Jake. Anyway, next question. This question's from Easy Ian on YouTube. What social media app do you think is the most helpful to artists? That's an interesting question.
YouTube, I guess. Literally everything is on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say YouTube has probably the best algorithm of all of them, of everything. So, like, they really know how to, like, you watch this and you're gonna like this, and it's pretty much been hits all the way through. Instagram, not so much because it's Facebook now, but I made a different Instagram account and like only followed things based on interest. And like I didn't follow myself, I didn't follow anybody that I know because I didn't even want the location algorithm to go in. So like that Instagram account thinks I'm like some like 40-year-old lesbian woman in like Italy or something, because the stuff that they push to me, I'm like, this crazy, super high art. So I'd say Instagram's cool if you can get around the algorithm, but yeah, YouTube probably is best.
Nice. Let's see. This question is from George. What was one of your favorite collaboration experiences? He's a thinker. George gave you guys a thinker.
He wants me to say his name, but I'm not going. I got one. Keon, my brother Keon.
Yes. Shouts out to Keon.
Recording artist, very talented, dancer, performer all around. He goes. His stage name is Casino Coffee. You can look his stuff up. I was getting out of like a super dark place, I feel like, and I really felt my computer wasn't even working, and that was like earlier on when he was kind of just getting into his own like sensibilities. He was really starting to find himself in that, and we collaborated on a project which I think they linked on the website and stuff, Go Tanks, which was tight. But that was like, I had never recorded like that before. I had never been able to express myself that openly like with music before, so that was, and still continues to be, like we still talk a lot of music and talk a lot of shop and recording and stuff, and that's like really, really precious collaboration. I love you, Keon, if you're watching.
I can't pinpoint like a specific one that meant the most to me. Like for some reason, the ones where I've been on set for part of it come to mind first. Like the ones that I've been like for the 48, or just I happened to DIT for. So because I when I edit, I'm just like in my own bubble. and I forget that there's other people. But like for the projects that I've actually seen this, like the set for, and like watched it happen, I think those are my favorite collaborations.
Nice. That's awesome. Let's see. Wow, we've got lots of questions. Okay, next question is from Summer, and this question is: do you guys mostly draw inspiration from other sources or from yourself? Tricky.
These are dope questions. Summer's
good questions. Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. Shout out to Summer.
Both?
Other people for me. Yeah.
All right.
I feel like I try to. I definitely am inspired constantly, like externally. Like I see stuff, like I'm saying on that other Instagram account. Like I see photos I'd never have seen, and I love watching like films that really blow me away. But then sometimes I am kind of like, wait, I have lived a personal life that has caused all these different things, and I'm like, these experiences are only inherent to me. So sometimes when I get back in my personal bag, I'll pull stuff from that too. So that's probably more for writing, I feel like, or like, writing songs, poems, story scripts, like anything like that. I feel like I try to pull more from inside for that. But yeah, I love being inspired externally. That shit's tight.
Nice. Cool. All right. I'm sorry if I say this name wrong. Bichelle Lockhart? Is that how I say it?
That's
all right. Shout out to Aaron's mom.
He's the only person with that name. Hi, Mom.
Okay. Her question is, how do you define fame? What steps can you take to obtain it? And how is fame achieved without compromising integrity? These are the big questions. These are some hard questions. Let's unpack that. Let's start at the beginning. How do you define fame?
Visibility.
Okay, visibility. And then what steps can you take to obtain visibility, let's say?
See yourself first.
Okay. And then how is fame achieved without compromising integrity?
Accountability. Keep that close circle of people that are going to hold you accountable for real. That don't, like you want people that'll let you explore, but then you also, you need people that are going to be like, hey, this isn't you. Or, hey, you're pandering. Or like, something, people that keep you real.
Mm-hmm. There you go. There's the formula for fame. We figured it out. There's the roadmap.
Decoded everything.
I'd like to ask you guys a follow-up question to that. Are you chasing fame? Is that something that's important to you? And there's no wrong answers. Oh, I don't think I can hear you, Karllon, if you're talking.
Did you take your AirPods out? I don't know if that was what her mic was.
Oh, maybe. No. Or
Just have AirPods in.
I don't know if that's a loaded question also. I don't want to put you guys on the spot and be like, yeah, I want to be famous. Because there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want. But is that how you define success for yourself?
I'll take it. Karllon, it says in the chat, they said do a quick refresh, maybe. Yeah. That'll work. I was really early on when I was trying to get into music and stuff. I'm like, oh, I want to be famous. I want to be famous. I want to be famous. And then I realized, I was like, dude, you can do anything to be famous. You can get on the news and you're famous. And then I realized it was that thing inside that I wanted more, that you think that famous people all have, I think. So it was like I was really after this, like, awakened self or something like that. Like, I realized it was something internal, and I had to pivot because I feel like my art sucked a long time ago because that was my goal. So it's like I had to restructure. It's like if fame comes, that's tight, maybe. I feel like I personally, I feel like I could handle the pressure of being a famous person, but that's not something that I'm after anymore. It's definitely something that's inside that I want.
Nice. Karllon, are you with us?
Yes. Am I good? Okay. Sorry, like my laptop and my AirPods were all dying at the same time.
It's okay. It's totally fine. So Karllon, I'll ask you, like, how do you define success for yourself?
Man, like I want my work to be seen by a lot of people, but like I also want to make work that I'm also happy seeing. It's like hard finding a balance because like with like the YouTube thing that I'm trying to do, I feel like I have to make certain content that's palatable for like a lot of people in order for it to get a lot of views, but then sometimes I feel like I'm compromising like what I actually want to make. So yeah, getting a lot of views while making content that I enjoy would be how I define success.
Nice. Awesome. And I wish you both so much success in your life. Because you guys are already prospering and amazing artists and you're talented, and I just know that success is in your future. You're going to continue being successful because I think you both are successful right now. But that's just, sorry, just had to be nice for a second. Okay. Another question from Webb. I hope, is it okay if we go a little bit over the hour? Are you guys okay on time? Okay, yeah. Awesome. I love talking to you guys. Awesome. Okay, so a question from Webb for Karllon. What drew you towards editing?
I started editing back in like high school, just like random video projects, and I realized how much I love like the cutting something together and like making something completely new with what I started with. And yeah, my love for that has never changed. I'm very like detail oriented, and I like telling a story through my cuts. So that's why I love editing.
Nice. Awesome. Okay. Okay. The board is asking me to ask you guys the complicated question that I wrote in the general questions. I don't know if you guys looked over that one, but I'm going to try my best to explain what I mean. But here we go. So when starting a project, do you have an intended style? Follow-up. Do you consciously aim for a certain style, or does it develop as the process progresses? So maybe I'll leave it there. I don't know. Do you want me to elaborate? Because, okay, so the question that I'm really trying to ask is maybe a little bit more philosophical, but do you think, let me see if I can explain this. I'll use my example. I'll use my example that was in the script. So do you think, is what makes a David Lynch movie a Lynch movie simply because he makes it, or because he decides to make a film in the style of a Lynch movie? So do you, and can you apply that to yourself? Like, do you think you make Karllon and Aaron movies because that's just who you are? Or are you trying to portray a certain personality through your work?
I did read this question. And it's funny because I was just watching part of Eraserhead earlier, the sequence of it. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like David Lynch is like going out of his way to make like Lynchian things, or he's like trying to be the weird guy, or like this this type of outlier thing. But I think that he regularly puts himself, this is just my perception, I watch his interviews and stuff, but I feel like he tries to put himself in a position that that these things come about organically. So it's like some of the strangeness in his films aren't always accidents, but they're more like a strike of lightning kind of thing, like just a bolt of inspiration. And I try to personally bring some of that there. So like I've said before, I don't feel genre bound. I don't feel like a limitation in that way where it's like I have to work within this confined thing. So if I'm going into a project, writing, directing, whatever, music, I usually know what kind of style I want in terms of like I'm going to make a sci-fi thing or I'm going to make something spooky or whatever. But I'm not always actively chasing this thing. I feel like it's sort of in that Lynch way. He always talks about fishing. It's like going fishing for an idea, and if you wait long enough, like the good idea will come and it'll build on itself. I feel like that when you build the foundation, I guess, in a way to like manifest those things. They'll come about organically. I feel like don't chase being like this thing, or don't try to be an impression of yourself. Like just be yourself, kind of.
Nice.
That's a really good answer. I don't know how to answer that, but yeah. Like when I edit things, I start with like a basic idea, but then as I'm editing, then I start to like subconsciously like add these quirks that I've kind of collected over the years with my editing style. So
nice. Okay, cool. Good to know. That was just like I've been pondering that for a little bit. Like maybe it's my imposter syndrome, but I'm like, am I being myself or am I pretending to be myself? And I feel like that's a hard thing to reflect on sometimes. But thank you. That was good insight. Thank you guys. Okay, most important question of the night. Super important. Shrek 1 or Shrek 2? This is always a polarizing question.
Shrek 2, so the end of Shrek 1, Fiona decides that she's going to live as an ogre, right? And then Shrek 2 picks up where they're like living happily. What's the conflict in Shrek 2 though? It's been a minute since I've seen it.
That's like the one with the fairy godmother. And like Prince Charming and stuff. I honestly don't remember. I'm not. My vote is for Shrek 1, so I don't know. I don't know what Shrek 2 is about.
Oh, it said human Shrek is the main deal of Shrek 2. Oh, where he? Yeah. Oh, fuck. They. Uh-oh. I wanted to say Shrek 2, but I couldn't remember the plot. But that is where he starts to see himself as a human. He's like, what if we are better off just being this way? Where he tries to like let go of who he really is to like satisfy. Yeah, I might but Smash Mouth. You know,
the first one's a classic.
I might have to be with Tiffany on Team Shrek 2. That might actually I might need to rewatch that.
All right. Okay, Shrek 2. Karllon, any thoughts?
Man, I can't. They're both like blending in my head. If you like told me the plot of either of them, I would have been like, sure, that happened.
That's a movie.
Wow.
All right. Okay. Good to know.
So, both, I guess.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. So that is going to wrap up our questions. I have I want to thank you guys. Thank you so much for answering my questions. And let me do my long outro spiel, so bear with me for a moment. So that wraps up our session 1 featured artist Q&A. Thank you to Karllon and Aaron for taking the time to talk with me tonight, and I truly appreciate you two as artists and as friends, and myself and the board are very grateful to have you here and to have you as featured artists. Be sure to check out the website, eccentricartist.space, to check out Aaron and Karllon's work. And be sure to follow them on social medias and all of that. Before we sign off, this is where the spiel comes in. We got some stuff coming up, so if you guys are interested, we have some upcoming events for Eccentric Artists. So Simulcast Theater is back, and we have a new script titled The Last Death of 1962, and it's written by Shay Simone. We're currently hosting an open casting call for 3 of the roles, so be sure to check that out. Aaron, I know you're an actor. You might want to check that out. And so the script and everything you need to know is on the website, eccentricartist.space. And you can also submit your video auditions if you're interested. The cutoff date is March 29th at 11:59 p.m. Standard Time. Our next event is game night, trivia night. The last time we did it was very fun. Sophie kicked everyone's butts at trivia, so be sure to come back and try and beat Sophie. Trivia night is back. It's on Saturday, March 20th at 7 p.m. And so far we've announced 3 of the 5 categories. We have food in film, villains, and Disney Channel / Nickelodeon original movies. So if you know trivia about any of those categories, be sure to join us. The winner of game night will receive a custom game night t-shirt created by me. You can RSVP on the website after the stream. And then lastly, we are still accepting Cook With Me Film Challenge submissions. The submission cutoff date is March 28th, so be sure to submit a video of a recipe of your choice. It's your cooking show, basically. So it could be an ASMR video, it could be TikTok, it could be you teaching me how to make something, whatever. I just want to see your food. I want to see what you guys make. Also, I want to give a shout out to Cinefems, who is hosting Through Their Lens, which is tomorrow night. I don't know. I don't know what time it's at. Maybe the board can save me here, but be sure to check that out. It's going to be online on Zoom. Through Their Lens. It is a diversity filmmaking panel, and one of our board members, Jemson Oyozos, is going to be on the panel. It is tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Thank you for saving me here, Tiffany. It's at 7 p.m. tomorrow. So be sure to check that out. I think that's going to be really cool. And, okay, that's my spiel. Thank you for sitting through that, Aaron and Karllon. Do you guys have any shout outs or anything that you want to say before we head out? It's okay.
Shout out Eccentric Artists. You guys made this happen. This is about you guys.
Thank you. Cool. Karllon, I don't want to cut you off. Do you have anything?
Shout out Summer with the great questions. Thank you, Summer.
Yes, thank you, Summer. Awesome. Okay, cool. So that's it for tonight. Thank you, Aaron and Karllon, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for talking with me tonight, and thank you to everyone watching, and have an excellent night, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye.